Hey everybody, welcome to the first Twitch stream from the Nighthawk Pro Gaming Lounge. My name is Ben Acevedo. I am the brand experience manager for Nighthawk Pro Gaming. With me I have Thomas Foss from Cryptic and Nathan Stanz from Gen.G.
Great to be here.
So we're just going to kind of jump into things and talk about a little bit about what's happening in the industry, talk a little bit about esports, talk a little bit about dev stuff, and just kind of where things are, some things that are happening. We'll start with like esports. Seoul Dynasty just wrapped up the season. What's next for Seoul Dynasty? And then Gen.G in particular, you've got a couple of really great teams that are happening out there that are really heating up. PUBG especially. So let's just
I'll take it away. As you mentioned, Seoul Dynasty just finished the inaugural season of the Overwatch League. Playoffs will be starting for the rest of the teams next week with the grand finals in Brooklyn at the end of July. Unfortunately, we won't be there, but that does mean we have a cool opportunity to bring the players. So the Seoul Dynasty, obviously we're the team representing Seoul, all Korean players. We're going to be taking them back to Korea and involving them in the process of building our new state-of-the-art esports facility there. 5 floors, going to facilitate all of our teams, all of our back office management, and it'll be cool to get their take on it because they've been in LA for 7 months now, and so I'm sure they want to see their families, their friends, kind of reconnect with some of the other pro gamers because they're fans of the other Gen.G teams as well.
It's almost like they were like sequestered. All the teams were sort of sequestered in Los Angeles during this. So I bet that they're a little bit homesick. Can't wait to get back. With the esports arena that you guys are building out, like, what's the capacity? Like, like with the Overwatch arena, it was like 400, but I hear that these are going to be a lot more substantial. Yeah, so the Overwatch arena in Burbank is about 500, usually sells out, almost always sells out, especially when we play specifically. The ones that the teams are looking at building are kind of a little larger. 2,000, I think, is the capacity we're looking to sell at. Because it's not going to all be in one city, the events are going to be a little more premium. And because we're going to be in our home city, we're expecting more fans to show up. Similar to, I know we've watched that Seoul Dynasty send-off video quite a few times where we had, 1,000 fans show up to send the players off to LA. So we're hoping they keep showing up. The team had like an event where they sold out, like what?
60 seconds.
In 60 seconds.
Yep.
How many tickets was that?
I think it was 1,000 tickets. I think they were $50 each, and it was 95% Korean girl esports fans that just wanted to tell our players, hey, good luck in LA, goodbye, we're going to miss you, we'll be here when you get back. We sold merch, we did show matches. It was a fantastic time. Wow,
this is just... It's been really interesting watching the development of the whole league over this entire season, and just with us being part of it through our sponsorships, it's been really cool to kind of watch it grow, and that viewership has been kind of pretty steady all the way through the entire season. The next step is really kind of crucial, I think, just seeing how once it goes out to the other 12 different cities, then how that kind of develops. Being in Seoul, that's going to be some rough flights on the Pacific League. Yeah, we'll see how the schedules actually get worked out because there's other, Shanghai is also an Asian team. They're going to be adding on more teams this offseason, potentially more Asian teams. So I think it's going to be more of a, a tour through a region versus I'm going to play London on Tuesday and Seoul on Friday and get back to LA because that's just going to be, undoable for the players. More of a, like some sort of maybe like an arc or a tour loop. Like a loop over the Pacific Rim, kind of playing both of the Los Angeles teams in the same go, as opposed to bouncing back and forth. I've done that loop recently, and it's pretty rough. Yeah, with the launch of the equipment. Yeah, with the launch of the XR500. Yeah, congratulations on that. So with that, let's talk a little bit about like all the other teams that are with Gen.G. Like, people know that we're a sponsor of Seoul Dynasty because of the jersey, but we're also the sponsor of, like, what is it, like 5 other teams with Gen.G. 5 other teams. So we have 2 PUBG teams, Gen.G Gold and Gen.G Black, who are doing very well. Keep an eye on them going into the PGI in Germany. We have, obviously, the world champion LCK team, Gen.G League of Legends, formerly KSV Esports, formerly Samsung Galaxy, that won the championship. 2 new players in Fly and Mong. Fly, who was in the US recently on FlyQuest in the LCS, so he brought kind of a really cool fan base and perspective to the team.
We also have Heroes of the Storm that just won in Sweden, the mid-season brawl. We were undefeated going into the finals, and then Dignitas actually gave us a fight, and we won in Game 7. It was a barn burner. If you haven't watched the VOD, you should definitely check it out. It was a last hit on their Nexus as we died. It couldn't have gotten closer.
That's super cool.
And then in China, we have a Clash Royale team that just finished second in the first season of the first franchise Clash Royale League.
Yeah, the Clash Royale League, they did they have the XR 500, and they actually did a video for us, which was super cool. The cool thing about that for them is that they're a tablet game, so they're a tablet playing, and so granted that like you could still wire in, it's still fantastic to wire in, but it also is the first time that like one of the teams is actually using sort of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the perfect use case. They do use the Wi-Fi, and it does make a difference for them.
And then so. Let's see. Let's jump into a little bit more of industry and bring Thomas into the conversation. So E3 just wrapped up. Some crazy things out of E3, like trailers that spun your head.
Not only crazy, I mean the fact that it was open to the public this year.
Yeah,
was just gangbusters, right? I had friends that went, and it was so hard to even get to a game that they wanted to see. Because it was so crowded and popular, which is really neat.
It looked like it hit that high watermark. Like I don't know if you've ever been to like the San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con.
Right.
When that sort of hit sort of the mainstream, it became impossible to like, you wanted to go see something in Hall H at San Diego, and you're like, that line is just insane. I'm not gonna. And that sort of was the thing with Fortnite, or not Fortnite, but. E3. Speaking of that,
yeah, it is the thing with Fortnite.
Yeah,
absolutely true. Yeah,
they had a bus.
Yeah.
They had the battle bus there, and it's just huge. It's like a lot of things happening with that. With all the different things that were at E3, was there anything like that you saw there that you thought was pretty cool or looking forward to?
Yeah, I didn't get to go because we're busy getting ready to launch Ravenloft and getting gold. But I was going through all the videos and streams and talking to my friends and looking at the Twitters, and there are a couple of really cool games. Of course, I'm excited about Fallout 76. Just like a classic. I actually came late into the Fallout series because I think when it launched, the first one, I was like a brand new dad. So didn't have time for those games. So it was really neat coming back into that and enjoying it. And now I'm just super stoked about Fallout 76. And then other things that caught my eye more esoterically was like Ghost. I love classic samurai films and things like that. And it looks like they're just nailing it. It just looks really looks enjoyable.
It looks so gorgeous. Like I can't believe that was like gameplay footage. It was just. Absolutely, everything was just rendered and just with the wheat and
I think I'm gonna feel like I'm in a Toshiro Mifune movie.
Yeah.
The whole time, it really just feels cinematic. It's just really wonderful.
There was that game back on PlayStation, I think 2, I think it was Way of the Samurai, that kind of had that same sort of element and feel, and I think that this seems to feel like almost like a spiritual successor,
yeah,
like a larger,
like the next gen version of
exactly.
it, right? Really just bumping it up.
Yeah, just like making that just amping everything up. It's just so gorgeous, and the fact that was like gameplay footage blew my mind.
Yeah, and then I think I've been really also, I'm not sure if they showed it at E3, but Phoenix Point, the next version of the XCOM games, also just looks super sexy.
So going into XCOM games, so did you play the original XCOM way back? Infocom?
Absolutely. And I remember the first time running through it, and like, all right, got my crew, got my gear. I'm really just going to give these guys boots on ground, the best stuff possible. Then by about phase 3, they're like, shut me down because I didn't have any satellites or anything. And I'm like, rage quit. I'm like, no. And then about a week later, I'm like, all right, I'm picking it back up again.
That game, that and also Terror of from the Deep, the sequel. I never finished any of it, especially the second one, because my base would always get raided and all my guys would get killed because somehow the aliens had plasma rifles and I was still mucking around with like bullets, and they would just wipe me out. And then the sort of the remake or the reboot, I played that a ton. I played War of the Chosen. I think that they really made some great game decisions on that. And then so Phoenix is the original designer, I believe.
Has
brought that, and
exactly.
it looks gorgeous. It really does.
And they've made a lot of really interesting decisions with the whole targeting system that they have on it. And then like you shoot the arm off of a big alien creature, and then you can use it for gear, right? It's kind of like taking it and looting. And also I believe the mutants or the creatures, the aliens, also learn from like what tech you're using and start to evolve to your systems. Right? Kind of like that whole black and white game kind of thing. Going back on, right? Or like any good sports team, they'll start learning your techniques and then kind of either mimicking them or finding a counter to them, right?
So then, let's speaking of sports, let's talk like the giant elephant in the room is battle royale esports, and I know you're a player as well. What do you think of that trend? There seemed to be a little bit of a trend of like everything throwing a battle royale. I think was it Battlefield has a battle royale mode.
Call of Duty has a battle royale instead of a campaign. Even they decided to skip that completely.
It's funny how that has really transformed like online gameplay in like the last like year and a half, where Fortnite came out from nowhere, and just like blew up, huge. What's your thoughts on that, and how it's going to like continue to evolve sort of esports?
Totally. Every so often, a new genre kind of transcends into the mainstream. I think we saw it with MMOs and World of Warcraft. I think we saw it with League of Legends and MOBAs, and now we're seeing it with Fortnite and Battle Royale. Obviously, we've invested heavily in PUBG. We're huge fans of the game. We love our players, and they're doing very well. We're also keeping an eye on Fortnite. It's such a cool thing to see, athletes, celebrities, everyone's doing the Fortnite dances, everyone's getting into it. It's cool to be a gamer. I feel like every year we say that, it's cool to be a gamer now, and every year it just gets cooler and cooler. So we'll be watching. How lucky was Epic that Ninja won the Pro-Am, right? With all the hype he's getting, he's playing with Drake. He goes into a 100-person tournament with a celebrity on his team, and he wins it all. That's bonkers.
That was totally bonkers, the whole Pro-Am thing. That was like, because it was like a who's who of streamers, celebs, and that just shows sort of the reach of, is it, here's the question, has like battle royale type games, has that like opened things up where, gaming, especially online gaming, has sort of found like almost like mainstreamish sort of audience. 600,000 people watched Drake and Ninja. That's insane.
I think just in general, the social media of the world in games has really just exploded, right? Even on, I work on Neverwinter. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game, which used to be, the geekiest thing ever, and you wouldn't tell anyone about it. It was okay to play sports. That was cool. Esports maybe a little bit different, but but that's grown up too, right? Through that system. But now, we've got all these great movie stars and stuff saying, no, Vin Diesel, I play D&D. Like, it's great. And it just gives us a certain bona fides of like, you know what, we're not geeks. We're just all people that really like playing games and or being the person that I may not be able to be the best guy throwing a football, but man, I can get the Tiger Woods hole-in-one 10 out of 10 times. I love that, right? And I know I'm not that e-athlete. Man, I'd like to be.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. I watched like the highlight reels, the Nighthawk play the week, every week from Seoul Dynasty, and like I watched Zumba and like this week was Zumba and Fleto like dominated like like it was 2 of Zumba and 2 of Fleta. Like Fleta's on there like almost every week.
Oh, he's just absurd. Yeah.
And the thing is I think there's like this old movie where it was like a John Cusack movie from like 1 billion years ago, and it's going to age me. But where he's coming in to do a ski competition. He comes in and the guy's like in
the body cast?
Yeah, the body cast, and he's like, I thought, like, what the hell happened to you? And he's like, I was going to go down to K-12. And, just watching them last week at the Olympics made everything so easy. And that's how I feel like watching Fleta. Like, he's like Spider-Man with Widow, he's like Zap.
You watch it and you think, just click on their heads. That's all you have to do.
It makes it look so easy, and then I go out and try it, and then I'm like in a body cast. It's pretty embarrassing. But like I think that like for us, with you guys, like you guys were like our second or third partnership. We had Ninjas Pajamas and Avant Gaming, and then you guys were in January, and it's been it really is for us, we're excited about esports. We're excited about growing the entire sport as a whole, and it's really great to see these athletes, and they are athletes because it does take so much to do what they do. I mean, they're there's 110 spots in the Overwatch League. There's 35 million players. I can't even do that math in my head of what the percentage of the best of the best of the best of the best that they are.
It equates to any of the best soccer league teams or football teams or basketball teams, right? It's exactly that.
And being able to for us to help in legitimizing that and legitimizing gameplay, we've always been about connectivity and connecting people. And that's sort of the new thing is online gaming really does connect you. You're playing, a lot of times you're playing with your friends, but you're playing with strangers, and you're just connecting with people, talking to people on TeamSpeak, and that's where we have kind of gone with the XR500 and the SX10 and the Pro Gaming line is to really kind of help with those tools that gamers need in order to make that connection better. A lot of times it's always been, it's a gaming router, but this is the first time that we've actually solved those sort of problems from the ground up. And it's really about solving that lag, making that experience better, and just going, that's what you want. You want to have that connection super awesome, so that way you are just concentrating on your gameplay. I saw a huge drop in my lag, in my ping, when I got it, which allowed me to actually play hit scan characters like McCree. I couldn't play McCree. I couldn't play Widow. I couldn't play, I couldn't play Soldier 76, which is basic, and just because I just couldn't get that hit scan. So it's pretty cool to kind of watch those sort of naturally sort of grow as the year has gone by. Going back, let's see. Let's see. Wow, we have. Do we have any questions live right now? We'll take maybe some questions from somebody out in the audience.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
What's that? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So drop your questions down below, or put them in the chat. Hey, bear with us. We're new here. We're trying to push this out. But yeah, we'd love to hear questions from you guys. You can ask about esports. You could ask about Gen.G, Seoul Dynasty. We could ask about Cryptic and Neverwinter. We're gonna see Ravenloft, which is super cool. And for those of you that aren't as familiar, Ravenloft is probably one of the most beloved words in nerd and geeks for Dungeons and Dragons for a number of years. It's one of the most beloved modules that is from the tabletop, and it's really been. Let's maybe transition into this for a couple seconds. Yeah, it's super cool watching you guys do Tomb of Annihilation, Ravenloft, taking all these classic portions that were such fondness when they came out originally, and seeing you guys adapt it and make it into a massive multiplayer experience of it. How do you wrap your head around that first and make that experience unique for players, but also make it so that way it's sort of a massive experience?
Yeah, well, yeah, Neverwinter's always been an MMO, and D&D has always been about playing with other people, right? So you can kind of do it solo or playing, but really it wasn't us so much as Wizards of the Coast that's really bringing back their old ideas. So the old Tomb of Horrors, like Tomb of Annihilation. So Chris Perkins and Merles and all the gang up there, Wizards, decided to actually, they know those golden nuggets just like we do. We played them, we loved them, and they're the ones actually kind of bringing them back, right? So when they did the Tomb of Annihilation, we were so excited to be able to actually work in line with them and kind of tell our story in Neverwinter of the tomb and things like that, right? And now Wizards, with the Stream of Many Eyes they did this year, they've announced Waterdeep, right, and then the Mad Mage and Undermountain. And we were actually, it took so long for us in Neverwinter to build the jungles of Seoul, because I think we started with literally one jungle plant that was like a thing of the Moonstone Mass. So, building all that set takes a lot of time and story. So we were looking at, like, we couldn't quite catch up to Waterdeep yet, but what's another great story that we wanted to tell? And it was unanimous across the whole team, Ravenloft, right? It's a classic horror, it's Hammer Films meets Dungeons and Dragons. So we went to work on that, and when we actually started, when we broke ground on it, it actually was right around Halloween. So it just added to the fervor of it.
So we are actually we've been partnering up with you guys at Cryptic. We're your preferred network connection.
Absolutely.
For just having like that stabilized connection that the pro gaming stuff does. But we're giving away some codes. And can you tell us a little bit about those codes for Neverwinter?
I have no idea what the codes are because this is a live first-time stream.
Okay.
And the marketing guys take it, but they're probably for one of the player packs or something.
Yeah, I think it's like a hunter pack.
Oh, it's the hunter range, but yeah. So it's a new hunter expedition pack.
So it's
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think we're giving Angelo. Are we giving away how many? Like 3 of those?
Sweet.
And how do people?
How are we going to do this?
Oh, yeah. So follow us and drop a comment below, and we will get you connected up with a chance to win that pack.
Yeah, one of the Hunter Expedition packs. Right.
And it's worth like what? It's like $75 or something like that.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
It's pretty cool. We're gonna go later on. We're gonna see. We're gonna do an exclusive walkthrough with the beginning of Ravenloft.
I'm going to make Ben do it. He's going to run through this. It's going to be awesome.
So I have, I've played a little bit of Neverwinter. I have played Ravenloft 100 years ago, so did you play D&D?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, my godfather was Alan Lucian. He wrote the 1st through 9th level spells for the original books, right, with Gygax. So I started like with chainmail, like way old school, right? And I remember getting my first blue the D&D box, and so I've been playing for many years.
Did you when you?
I had started getting into tabletop gaming about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like a novice, which has been really fun.
Oh, that's really neat. Yeah.
We do some of the traditional fantasy D&D setting stuff, and then there's like a rule set for hyperlanes. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of like a more space, like a Star Wars kind of version of tabletop games. Super fun. I love it. You can really get into it.
Yeah, so actually I started out in the business by creating tabletop games. I even have my own company still. I make tabletop games or floor top games for my kids, right? When we're playing,
So just to put out my nerd cred, I recently just bought an airbrush.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm like painting.
Gonna start making some minifigs?
I've been making minifigs. I've been making a lot of terrain as well. I got kind of deep in there, but like I'm super excited to see this because like that experience, that's the cool thing about your game is it takes this tabletop experience, which is about sitting around with your friends. And now you can take that and really have that sort of experience online
and play with your friends.
And still
right, and you can get your guild and join up together and set up your own stronghold and go and play in the dungeons or play together. It's really fun, and I do that actually with my friends. I've got friends in Milwaukee. I've got all across, and we'll join up and play together.
I regularly play with the same group of people every Friday. We play online, and it's really about like that's the cool thing about online gaming. Going back to that discussion is that it's really about connecting people. You stay in touch. I stay in touch with my brothers and friends from back home by playing games over the weekend or and playing competitively.
Just or trying to on our parts. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest my biggest hurdle with playing like. When I started playing on the competitive seasons, especially on Overwatch, was I don't know about you guys, but I hate it when you're playing a matchup game at the very beginning to kind of put you where you need to be, and somebody always drops out of that game, and they're like, "Our game is going to tank." We're definitely losing.
Attitudes come out.
People
give up.
But but on the other side of that though, like I've got friends now that I've met online from that. Like they're like, hey, you're the new kid. We're gonna help you through this.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna go through. I've got a friend in Singapore. Like, I remember playing Left 4 Dead. And he's like, Foss, first time you ever played? I'm like, okay, here, go find it. Here's where you find the pills. Here's where you do this, right? So I think you really hit the nail on the head about what gaming is, or the sports community, whether it's the fans reaching out and touching, or it's it's people just reacting to each other. It's a social community, right?
Absolutely.
We're humans. We're social, and gaming gives us that way to touch.
Yeah, and I've met like a lot of my I play a lot on Xbox, so a lot of my Xbox Live friends are actually people that I've picked up from playing Overwatch competitively, other games, Fortnite, any of the role-playing games that are on there. I know that Star Trek is on there, Neverwinter.
Yep.
Was it ESO as well. But like just playing all of those games, like that's how it really does kind of connect and grow as a community, where you're through connection online, and that's really what gaming is really about. And it's like that's what makes the whole, I think, the community stronger.
Looks like we have some
Looks like we have a question from the audience.
Adrian from Twitch. Does this simply connect instead of my Sky router? I have fiber. Probably talking about the XR 500, does it connect instead of your Sky router? If it is a router, so it's not going to be like your gateway. You'd have to connect your gateway or a modem to it. Fiber, you're getting huge bandwidth. You get better bandwidth than I'm getting right now, because I live on an island and it's not. I don't get it, but what we have with it is what you'll be able to do is make sure that your connection, you've probably got a low ping already starting out from the gate. You're going to make sure that your connection is going to be low and stable, connecting one to the server, but also the features in it really helps you in controlling your local network. I've got 20 devices that are connected in my house, from smart TV to smart, this, that, and the other with other phones. And what that does is it causes local queuing, where, if you've ever been a commuter in the morning, trying to get onto the highway, that's what it kind of creates, the situation in your local network. And so what it does is it creates sort of an express lane where you're basically in the heavy occupancy vehicle lane for gaming, and you can get on and keep that stable connection. You've got it. It's like, how many devices do you have connected at home?
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually just set this up maybe 3 months ago, and so I got to see exactly what hopefully other people are seeing. I have probably more than I expected, like 15 to 20. You don't realize how many things are actually on the network when you get there. It's just a little scary.
Yeah, but, and a lot of those things are vampires of your bandwidth, like your Chromecast, your smart TVs, and your Fire Sticks. I know I have all three of those, and all of them are just kind of leeching little bits of internet. So I go into my quality of service and I kind of drop them down when I'm playing games, and then when I'm done playing games, I can bring that back up just as easy. I hope that answers your question. Keep the questions coming. Dalen, I want to see a League of Legends stream in the future. On this channel, if you want to see a League of Legends stream, that's awesome. We want to know what kind of games that you want to see. We're going to have to train up on League of Legends. I think there's a couple of us are not so good at League of Legends. So we could definitely stream it. You're going to see probably the worst League of Legends team in the history of the internet, though.
Maybe it's time to start recruiting.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be watching the stream.
So what we'll do is we're gonna move on a little bit. And is there one more question, or is that all?
Nope, hold questions for now.
Okay, we're gonna hold questions right now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna unbox the XR 500.
Ooh, shiny.
Pro Gaming router, and so this is what you're gonna get with it. Let's see, you're going to get the instruction manual. I know that some people say that you don't read it, but I always read that.
Is that also online?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the 21st century.
And if you're just joining us, we're we're going to be giving away. We're giving away this router, and we're also giving away some codes from Neverwinter. So stay tuned for that. To be entered
for that, you have to follow the channel and comment below, right?
Yep.
Or say something
comment
in the
below,
chat.
say hi.
Something like
that. Comment below and just let us know what you guys are thinking. This is our first time doing this. We're probably going to do something along this where we talk with industry professionals once a month, but we're also, we're going to start streaming some games and showing what not only this product does in order to help you have a better gaming experience, but what it does here in our Pro Gaming Lounge that helps us actually have a better gaming experience here. We use this product here. This is what powers up this lounge, and as you can see, we've got some pretty cool stuff. But we're definitely going to start streaming some content and some games for you on a weekly basis. So stay tuned. So you get the router base. You'll get the antennas with it, the power supply, which is also helpful, and also a handy Cat 5 cable, so you can connect it up. As you can see, we've got 4 Ethernet ports on the back. We've got your WAN port. You've actually got 2 USB ports on the side, so you can connect up like a USB hard drive or whatnot. And then that pretty much gets you out of the box and ready to set up. We're going to be talking with Luke Barlow from Netduma, who helped us create this. We created the hardware. Luke helped with the software, and we're going to walk through the DumaOS with him, and he's going to tell us about how this is all the different features and how that's going to really kind of shape your gameplay. And what else we got? Angelo, who are we going to?
Super producer
Angelo.
For those of you that don't watch a lot of Twitch streams, it's a machine, and they're really the ones that run this, right?
Yeah. We've got Dustin, Leslie, Angelo, and Will here behind the scenes making this sort of happen. At this point, I think we're going. Are we going to Luke, or are we going to take a couple more questions? Okay, we're going to roll the trailer.
Oh, cool.
This is the teaser trailer.
Is it for Neverwinter?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Ooh.
Cool.
What's that?
Twitter handles.
Oh, and Twitter handles.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, and our Twitter handles. If you want to follow us and continue the conversation.
Yeah, I'm always looking to talk to Neverwinter fans. Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't personally follow me, but follow Seoul Dynasty, follow Gen.G esports, Gen.G LOL, root for the teams, post in chat if you're a fan, post in chat. Maybe we'll do a giveaway. We'll do some NETGEAR giveaway for anyone watching this stream. We'll figure it out. I'll hop in the stream right after this.
Follow Nighthawk Pro Gaming. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now Twitch. So with that, let's go to the trailer.
What is it that calls you to such a place? Duty? Knowledge? Revenge? Or merely fate?
All right, I think we're back. Hi, once again, Ben Acevedo, Brand Experience Manager for Nighthawk Pro Gaming. I've got Luke Barlow on the line, and he is the CEO of Netduma, and we're going to walk you through the DumaOS. How's it going, Luke?
It's very good. Good evening here from rarely and unexpectedly sunny UK.
Wow.
How's it going in San Jose?
We got all your clouds. Is what we have.
You're welcome.
It's a little bit cloudy here, but And it's also in the 50s, so it feels very, very, very English here.
Excellent. I'm glad we could send them your way.
Perfect. Thanks.
Shall I now take over?
Yeah. Go ahead, and we'll go into that.
Sure. So I will go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this works first time. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
I can. Let me. Here's where the technology. I'm going to be a giant technology failure here, and try to get this to be full screen. So, what's that? Oh yeah, and if you want to go ahead and comment on my inability to make this full screen, do so below. So I'm going to turn to super producer Angelo real quick to kind of help us get this full screen. It's just not doing the deal.
While Angelo's doing that, I can give a brief history about Netduma.
Yeah, perfect.
So the idea behind Netduma began all the way back in 2005. So Netduma is founded by gamers. Our founder, Ian, is a hardcore gamer, just like every other gamer, played games whenever he could in his free time. I met him at university back in 2005, and we just couldn't believe how bad lag was online. We were trying to play, in those days it was all about Halo 2, so we were just trying to play Halo 2 online every night, and it would just be ruined. You're trying to rank up, you're trying to get good KDs, and lag just gets in your way. And I think every gamer is familiar with a story like that. Whatever your favorite game is, lag, if it happens, ruins your experience.
Yeah,
so,
especially on critical games like online games, first-person shooters. You're trying to play competitive on Halo or Battlefield or Overwatch or PUBG or Fortnite. And just having those not just where your connection is terrible, but also getting those weird lag spikes when somebody's downloading something, torrenting, or just watching now with 4K content. It really just kills your experience.
Yeah, exactly. And it causes so many problems with your housemates. So back then, I had a housemate, every time she'd go out, the next day she'd want to upload all her photos to Facebook, completely crash the connection, the game's over. And yeah, like you say, nowadays it's more 4K streaming and torrenting and people watching Netflix all the time. That's the sort of stuff that causes arguments in the home. So we were like, well, this is just crazy. What can we do about it? And thankfully, Ian's just an incredible computer programmer, incredible engineer. So he's like, that's it. I'm going to figure out what the solution is to lag online. And fast forward a few more years, lots of research and development, realized that if you put something really smart on a router, you could really change your connection and really solve the main causes of lag. And so in 2014, after many, many years of hard work, we launched our software. And we launched it on our own hardware, and it got off to an incredible start. And then, around a couple of years ago, started speaking to NETGEAR and say, hey, look, you've got the amazing hardware, and Netduma, you guys have got amazing software. Why don't we put the two together and just create the best router in the world, especially for gaming? And that is, of course, the XR500 Nighthawk, which was launched in January of this year.
Yeah, it's really a peanut butter and jelly sort of situation where it's like the two best, from software and hardware just kind of put together into the ultimate package here. It really seeing is really kind of like believing. It's the cool thing about it is everybody that's run this thing is just amazed by it. Don't take my word for it. Take IGN's word for it. Take PC Gamer's word for it. PC Gamer calls this the best router of 2018, and the gaming router. It really is. And the thing is pardon my French, but it's so damn easy to use. For the most part, every router that I've ever had, I've only used it when I set it up, the day that I unboxed it, and then the day that something broke or there's a red blinky light, and then I go to try to figure it out, and if I can't really figure it out, then I get a new router. But with this, it really gives you the power to make those adjustments, defuse those arguments on who's hogging the bandwidth, and even finding out that I didn't know that my 4K smart TV was vamping internet even when it was off. So it's really powerful.
That's exactly right. I think routers have always just been that box you just set up on the first day and then kind of forget about unless your Wi-Fi goes down. But if you think about it, your entire connection goes through it. So if you can make it smart, there's a lot of really clever things you can do. And that's exactly what DumaOS is all about. It's making your router a lot smarter and giving you control over your connection for the first time.
Yeah.
Have you guys got it full screen yet? Because we could dive in.
Yeah, we're definitely full screen. So we could dive into it. One of the things that's really cool about this is that you know, it's like the last thing that you think about, but it's the first gateway and the first cause of problems for your online gaming experience. You know, the last thing you think about is my connection to the internet, but when you really boil it down, that's the first thing that you should be worried about. You know, your frame drops and stuff like that are going to happen because you're lagging all over the place. You know, I guarantee that like somebody in a worse computer than like the setups that we have here, which are like brilliant. If we were just connected with a laggy connection, they'd kill us every single time. But it's how to really give you that competitive edge.
Exactly, and like gaming for many years now, any serious gamer invests in peripherals, right? You want to improve your gaming experience, so you get the headsets, you get the better keyboard, better mouse, better controller, but your connection is absolutely critical. And I would say before our software came along, before the XR500 came along, you really had very little control over it. You were just kind of at mercy of the game and the network code behind the game. And the whole idea behind gaming features is to give you control back, and that's exactly what I'll show on the stream now.
Let's dig into it. Let's just go big. Let's
go huge. Right. So the first thing to say is this is the user interface, and you just access it on a web browser like Google Chrome or Firefox. Very easy to do. And if you've ever gone your router interface before, you'll notice pretty quickly that on the XR500 with DumaOS, it's not a UI you've seen before. We put a lot of effort into making it look attractive, and we put lots of effort into making it very easy to use. And that's because networking can be kind of scary and kind of complicated. So we want to make sure that whilst it's very powerful, it's also very intuitive. So the first screen you ever see is called the dashboard. And you can see there's different panels, which is what we call these little windows here, throughout. And the cool thing about the panels is you can move them all around the dashboard to tailor it to exactly the type of dashboard you like. Every panel also has these little icons here, and they remove them from your dashboard. Now, every single panel is from another feature on the router, and I'll show each of them shortly. The whole idea, though, is to give you one screen for your favorite features. So throughout this demo, I'm going to add some of my favorite features, so then when we come back to the dashboard at the end, you can see that kind of one-stop shop for your favorite features. And the idea behind that is, you're waiting between games, you just want to configure features on the fly, you don't want to be flicking between different screens. It's all there for you to do really fast.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is like I have like 3 pieces of information that are really like important to me, and I just put it on the dashboard. When I'm playing on my gaming PC, it's on the second monitor. When I'm playing on my Xbox, it's on my laptop or next to me, and I just kind of make those adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. So the first of our main features is called the geo filter. So I think every game intuitively knows this. The distance is... Oh, sorry, the light's going out one moment. You can tell it's live. Apologies, I'm back. So distance is one of the biggest causes of lag in online gaming. Mm-hmm. So most PC games, particularly historical PC games, would usually let you select the server, and often they give you the ping to that server. Right. The idea behind that is you want the lowest ping possible, the best connection you can get. But some modern PC games like Fortnite and... other games like Call of Duty, you don't have that much control, and console games is particularly bad. Like usually you're just thrown into matchmaking. It's kind of out of the box mindset. You're thrown into matchmaking and you just have no control over who you're going to match against. Which means you could say, I'm in the UK. It means I could end up playing with, no offense, Ben, I could end up playing with you in San Jose, and that connection for both of us is going to be terrible, right?
Exactly. It's. Let's be honest. The biggest time that really comes up is for you like late at night, or for me late at night, where there's not a lot of people in your like local area that are playing, but it's going to matchmake and throw you into like something. I've played games where suddenly everybody is speaking French, and I'm sort of lost. And so this is and it's mainly on console. Like they've gotten better, but it's still only like region. And even if you set your region to North America, there could be like 6 servers in North America. So you really get the ability to kind of dial it in a lot cleaner.
Exactly. And just on that topic, I brought this up in case we discussed it. These are the server locations for Fortnite. So within the game itself, you can select your region. So here in Europe, we would obviously only match on these servers. But the problem is there's a server in the UK, which has obviously got the best ping for me.
Right.
But I could get the server in Germany. But, go to, say, US East, there's a couple of servers there. And, these are like hundreds of miles apart. So there's a big ping difference.
Right.
And you don't have any control over which one you get on, right? There's no control over it. And that means every game by game is inconsistent. One time it's a good connection, one time it's bad. You don't know before the game which server you're on. It's very frustrating.
Right. What the West Coast servers are the distance between the two of those is like 700 miles.
Yeah.
I think it's like Washington. Is it Washington and California? Yeah, it's like an 800-mile difference, and that in itself just adds 30, maybe 50 milliseconds,
Right.
on there if you're in a dodgy connection already.
Exactly. So the geofilter is all about solving this problem, and it's pattern pending. So you won't find this on any other route other than a DumaOS powered router like the XL500. So the whole idea is you can now guarantee the location of the server you play on. So I'm actually going to do a live demo here, so it makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
So at the top, you just choose your device that you're playing on. So I've got a PlayStation just fired up next to me right now. So I'm going to choose my PlayStation. And then I select my location on the world. So obviously, you can tell by my accent I'm here. So let me put that there.
Do you have an accent? No, I'm just kidding.
So with this red radius, you can set a range from your home on the location of the server you'd like to play on.
Right.
So I'm just going to set it to mostly the UK and France, a bit of the Benelux area as well, and I can zoom in as well so you can see that a bit better.
Yep.
And let me just bring this up here so you can see this is my PlayStation screen here. I've got it on a capture card. So I'm going to go in. This is Call of Duty World War II I'm playing. I'm going to go into Team Deathmatch, the most popular playlist, and I'm searching now. So as I search, you'll see icons appearing. So all these triangles are the players or servers that we could have been forced to be the host of our game.
Right.
So I could have had a server in Russia, which would have been way laggier. Without any control, that could have been the server for my game.
Yes.
But because of the geofilter, I'm able to guarantee a local server much nearer my home. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's that one there's a server just there in northern France. So it's only 32 millisecond ping. So around 27, crazy. 30 milliseconds.
Yeah.
So anything below 50 plays great, right? Anything below 50 is great connection. Once you get into 30, you're just in dreamland. It's often we can get pings of around 20, even 15 milliseconds. So the whole point now is this game's going to be fair. It's going to be fun. It's going to really help me improve as a gamer, that I'm going to get a fair connection throughout. And that's the power of this geofilter, right? For the first time ever, you've got control over the location you're on. In fact, I think
you just popped down to 12.
Yeah, I think I think we actually pinged maybe a player at first, and now we're pinging the dedicated server. You can see it says there. And now we're getting it's like
12
I said,
and 13. That's crazy.
Just incredible connection. We also have just to add on here, we have something called allow and deny. So this is obviously a great server, but if it was a really bad server, which obviously this isn't the case, you can then deny the server as well. So in future, that server will always be blocked. So just in case you find a server in your range that's no good for you, you can block them too, which is obviously very powerful in PC gaming particularly, because there could be a particular server, like we were saying on Fortnite, that just is no good for you. Just block it, no problem. You never have to play on it again.
That's fantastic. Do we want to take a couple questions while we roll through this? All right, we'll continue. Well, go ahead and continue, Luke, while we're waiting to see what if there's any questions on this. But definitely, if you have any questions on anything that we're explaining, just go ahead and comment below, and we'll try to get to it and answer it as we go.
Awesome. So distance is obviously one of the biggest problems. The other huge problem, which we mentioned at the start, is congestion. So other people in your home watching Netflix, downloading torrents, they just use all your bandwidth. They're the bandwidth hogs in your home. And the trouble with that, it's like rush hour on the roads, right? All that traffic, all that congestion causes queuing, causes delays. And that is a big reason why your game gets a lot of lag. And on top of that, you can also get occasional, those kind of what just happened moments And that could just be someone simply loading a Facebook page, sudden rush on the bandwidth, even temporary, as you say, fire a shot in your game, you've got a big problem. So the QoS on DumaOS has been designed for gaming to solve all the causes of congestion. Ben, do you want to add to that? Have you ever had that experience? I'm sure most gamers know what I'm on about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to quickly comment to the comments on the stream. Yes, we are going to get to Neverwinter. We're going to run through some of the DumaOS features, and then we're gonna get on to Neverwinter. So just stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw the trailer, by the way, just while I was waiting. That looked incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, this is for me. This is like one the two biggest features as far as like just like making sure that my local network is under control. The anti-buffer bloat, just making that like express lane for gaming that's just dedicated to like I almost think that it's like a WAN allocation. Wouldn't you think that it's something along those lines?
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Kind of, I guess to put it in layman terms, is your bandwidth is like a pipe in and out of your home, and when you use all the internet connection up, the pipe's completely full. So how is there any room for gaming? And most people don't know this, but gaming only needs very little amount of data. It doesn't need much bandwidth at all. It uses very little data. But the thing is, it's very important that it always has a constantly open path. So this is what anti-buffer bloat solves. It's very simple. Again, you just enable it with one click here, and then I don't know how well this is showing up on the stream, but this says 100% here.
Yep.
And all you do is you drag the sliders to a low percentage. Let's say I put it to 80%. Right. And I've got one for my download and one for my upload. And what I've done there is I've said, okay, big downloader in my home and big uploader in my home, you can now have 80% of my pipe. That's all you can take. And the great thing about that is it means there's always going to be some space for low latency applications like Skype and obviously like gaming. So There's always freedom for it to go through. And that solves the congestion problem. But just to go a few steps further, we're like, okay, that's awesome, that problem's solved. But hey, what happens if, say, I want to stream at the same time, or there's other things I want to be doing in my home? Can I prioritize it in any way? And that's what bandwidth allocation does. So on this kind of pretty looking thing we call the flower, there's every device in your home. There's all grouped around it. So let's say I'm playing on my gaming PC. I just move these sliders and I give a lot more bandwidth to the device that I want to have the most. So I can give it all to my gaming PC, or I could divide it up around my home.
Yeah.
So I could do it like this.
Sometimes when I'm on a Zoom or a Skype call like this, then I allocate a little bit more bandwidth to the laptop that I'm doing that for. Let me just quickly run to the comments real quick. RoboShark is out there and saying that let's see, there's a something about like, where is it? RoboShark21, nice thing about having the XR500, you no longer blame your connection on losing the game. It makes it easy to realize that you are not as good as you thought. Totally true. It is actually, I will say this, that the XR500 has saved me, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars in controllers. So that's one of the fringe benefits. I no longer throw controllers. Not that I do, but it definitely will help with that, because nobody likes having what you think is a good run and then having like a lag spike that just totally sidelines you. And then there's a comment like my ping's super low, lag's non-existent. Even with that's a great point. Even with great connection, I had DSL and it really improved my DSL connection, but I moved up to cable and 300 pipe coming in. I have a natural ping of I think 16 or 17 coming in the door, and it's really helped in keeping that low baseline ping stabilized, so I don't have to worry about lag spikes due to the fact that look at this. Well, how many devices you have? Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just on this example, I have almost 20 devices in my house. I didn't realize how many devices were leeching off my bandwidth. Yeah,
and it's a really good point. If you've got a low base ping, as we call it, that's good, but that's just your starting point, right? You've still got to connect to the server.
Yep.
So if you're playing a game with a server far away, you can have the greatest base ping in the world, but it's still not going to help you, right? You always want to get that local connection. So if you've got a good connection, you need a way to control the gaming side of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to the final QoS feature, which is called traffic prioritization. So this is more like traditional QoS, and then it immediately prioritizes traffic based on the type of traffic it is. So out of the box, we capture pretty much every game, so all console games and all the popular PC games. And when you're playing a game, it immediately lights up this LED here, which is for high priority traffic. And this is happening right now, obviously, because I've got my PlayStation on playing Call of Duty. So that means I'm just going to guarantee I've got the best connection possible for that game. But what's pretty awesome about this is we're using something called deep packet inspection, which sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Basically, the router understands exactly the type of packet going through the system and prioritizes it. So with other software on other routers, what you have to do is sometimes add the port, or there's just a certain fixed list that's just port rules and you can't configure them, and then you have to pick the device by choosing the IP address and saying a static IP address. It all gets very complicated. Don't worry, this just does it all the way out the box immediately for you.
Yeah, that portion of port forwarding. So this is also another awesome feature, because like with port forwarding, you're always like, well, okay, what was that port? Where do I have to, like, I have to go to like the forums and hope that the guy that posted it is actually like a dev. Maybe I accidentally grabbed the wrong ports. And to be able to not have to worry about that by just having it, in the QoS is amazing. And the fact, like, can we go back there real quick, Luke,
Sure,
and just
yeah.
show that, like, not only do you have Unreal, but you also got Source. You've got, like, if there is an engine out there, like it's Battlefield, Crossfire, Guild Wars. I mean, Guild Wars, seriously. Like, there's everything out there. World of Kung Fu. Source Engine, Unreal, StarCraft, Skype. Like, you're gonna if there is a game that you're playing that you're serious about, it is here in these profiles, and the thing is we're adding those profiles all the time. If there's something that's cool, let us know. We'll add it. That's because it's really about trying to make you as the gamer, your experience a lot better. So don't hesitate. Just, you can find us anywhere on social media between, Nighthawk Pro Gaming and the DumaOS. You can, ping us and just let us know what the new hotness is.
Yeah, and you can still do the port forwarding rules if that's what you like, but the whole idea is making this as easy as possible, because most of us, we just want to play games, right? We don't want to be messing around with settings for long. So it's all trying to get you set up as fast as possible.
Totally.
I'll just show a couple of more features. So we briefly mentioned there how you don't need to worry about assigning IP addresses. Well, I'll just show that real fast. This is the device manager, and it shows all the devices connected to your network. So you can see my PlayStation's on my LAN right now, and there it is. So my IP address is already known. I could change the IP address. The router will still know what the device is. So it just makes it so much easier and simpler than you're used to. One cool feature we have here is you can block a device. So if you're a parent and your child's been online for too long, you can hit the block button and that will put them offline. So it gives you that extra control if you need it.
It's super quick. It's super easy, and that's one of the other things I like about that. And just looking at the device manager, there's a ton of devices that are connected to your network. Like, it's a lot more than what you think, and it's pretty eye-opening with that. Is there any questions out there on Twitch? Is there, don't hesitate. Give us a shout. What do you guys think about this? Is this something that, like, do you see how easy it is? Is it too complicated? Like, let us know what you guys think. All right.
Awesome. So one of the other big features we have is the network monitors. So the whole idea behind this is, you get that big lag spike when you're playing online. If you've got anyone who lives in your house, the first thing you say is like, are you downloading? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing to my connection? I'm trying to play games. So the network monitor literally gives you the answer. So no one can get away with some sneaky downloading while you're trying to play games. Mm-hmm. So it shows all the devices that are currently connected. So you can see them all down the list here. Obviously, I'm using my gaming PC right now. And it shows how much bandwidth it's using per second. And then on this graph below, we have an overview about, on an aggregate level, how much bandwidth is being used. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Gaming PC here, and it's going to show off that deep packet inspection I mentioned earlier. So first of all, it gives you a breakdown by category and the type of traffic that's being used. So the main, my pie chart here is, donut chart is media. So I'm going to click into that and say, like, wow, you're using like 4 meg of media a second. What is it? Let me click on this again. and it tells me it's Twitch, which makes sense, right? Because I've got Twitch up here right now.
Yep.
So that's a great way of immediately knowing what's causing your lag. And then on top of that, you obviously can then go back to the QoS. You can assign priorities and just give yourself control again over your connection. And that's what the network monitor, like I say, like all this whole product's all about giving you control.
It really is. It's about making things simple. Like, there's a team that has the XR 500. I'm not going to say which team, but they actually, when they're scrimmaging, they're not all of the team is actually playing at the same time, and then somebody is downloading something, and this is how they sort of monitor, and they go back into the QoS and kind of governor the PC that's doing other things while they're scrimmaging, so that they're uninterrupted. But it's a great use of these features. And then the question is, too easy for everyone to take control of your router. Actually, you're password protected and getting into this.
Yeah. So you have admin control. You can stop your kids getting on and screwing up your connection, or whoever it is you want to keep out. So I'll just show you a couple more real quickly. So we have system information. This is kind of more for the techies. It shows you your CPU usage on your router, how much RAM and flash are being used. And we also have something called RAPs. So RAPs stands for router apps. And every feature I've shown you so far is a router app running on DumaOS. So it's just like, on your smartphone, you've got apps for different features and functions, and you download them onto your phone. Mm-hmm. Same idea here with DumaOS. Every single feature is its own independent wrap. And the awesome thing about that means when we launch new wraps in the future, you can say, hey, I actually really want that for my connection. I'm going to install that. And it's so easy to do. You don't need to do a big firmware update, and it's super fast. It makes it a lot easier for us to develop as well. So that's the key concept behind DumaOS, and it's the first ever to ever see this on router software. And then if you're an existing Nighthawk or NETGEAR user, you'll be familiar with this screen here, which is kind of all the important network settings that you expect to see. So you've got WAN set up, LAN set up, UPnP, port forwarding, everything like that you usually find on a router. It's all still there.
Right, and this is all the settings that you usually that scare everybody off or scare me off. But this is where if you wanted to go in and do the port forwarding yourself, you could go and do that. For the more advanced user, all of those things that is sort of out there, you could definitely do, and it shows all of the powerful features that are in this router, just beyond everything. It really gives you that sort of ability.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. As a standalone router, it's got amazing Wi-Fi. It's got all the settings you need, and then with DumaOS on top, you'll just power with these incredible gaming features that give you the best connection possible. Right. So next time you're lagging online and you're wondering why, this is the product you need. This will tell you why and then let you solve the problem. So just to wrap it up, I mentioned at the start the dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and pin some of my favorite features so we can just show that working.
Yep.
Just one other thing to mention about intuitiveness. We have a little help icon on every single panel, which just explains what it does. So if you ever get stuck or ever think, wow, this is a bit confusing, you just use these. They explain what's happening. You're like, okay, I get it now. So the amount of the textbook queries on this is very low percentage-wise because it is so intuitive. So let me just add the device manager as well. Right, let me go back to my dashboard now.
And
so you can see
there
that,
you go.
Yeah, they all start loading down here. So obviously that's not large enough yet. So what I'd do is I'd resize it, and there you go. I've got my geofilter, got my anti-buffer bloat. I'm ready to go now, right? So that's the whole idea. Now you've got one screen just to configure your favorite settings and get you that amazing connection.
Yep, awesome. Well, thanks, Luke. Thanks for taking the time to call in. I know it's late, so I'll let you get back to World War II. And then it was awesome going through this and explaining to everybody out there. Just there's so many cool features. We could spend an hour going through this. But the thing is what's great about it is you're up and running in about 5 minutes. If you want to take a deep dive, you can do that as well. It's really up to you, and it's the power is really in your hands.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. I think we're going to transition over. I think we're doing Ravenloft Neverwinter next. We're gonna kind of run our way through. Yeah, it looks like I will be playing here. We need to jump over here.
It's pretty awesome. I like these live streams always get to learn new things about set up. So where we're starting out here, while we're getting things set up, and a little bit of backstory.
Okay.
Is you've already talked to or never ever here in Protectors Enclave where you are, and anybody in Neverwinter knows about. This is our main hub in Neverwinter's Protectors Enclave. That's the heart, the jewel of Favorite.
Okay.
Yep.
1,
And I got
2,
you set up here
3.
with a great weapon fighter. There's your companion there.
Okay.
Get you a couple of mounts. You've already been given the quest to go to Barovia, so we're gonna already head over to there. So let's go ahead and head over to the gates. So
Okay.
mount up.
Let's see what we got. Oh, polar bear. That's pretty killer.
All right. All right. Just follow your golden path. We're gonna hit down to one of the gates. This is great, man. Great speed here. I like this.
Yeah, look at that. Let's screaming here.
Get a nice view. Protectors Enclave.
Okay.
Go down.
I lost my gold.
You can go either way, actually. There's many gates to get out. You can go down this way through the back path.
Okay.
Experienced players know this alley. The Fiddler's Path, and there's your gate. Just go up to it. What's that?
Have to travel, and here we go.
We're gonna go straight to
Barovia. All right, let's take a look. We'll see if we got any questions.
Yeah. Anybody twittering out?
Yeah.
Give a shout out to us. We can do some giveaways.
We could.
Anybody Neverwinter players? Give us a shout out. What's your favorite class that you're playing?
Oh, we got to see if we can try to boost your volume.
Okay. Am I like the ghost in the machine here?
Oh, this is killer.
Yeah, so we actually, I thought we were going to go through the intro quest, but we're going to actually basically skip through the intro. So this is a preview live here of getting to go actually into Barovia itself. And since we're in Barovia, now I know you were on the mounted bear before, but how about we actually give you the new mount that we're going to go with it?
Yep.
Get your C key, go into that,
Okay.
go to mounts, and change your mount. And we're going to go to Swarm.
Okay, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, this is actually pretty cool.
So this is a new feature. Just
This is the new feature. This is one of the new mounts that we're going to go to 7 key.
7. There we go.
There you go. It's our new mount, travel power. So you swarm of bats like one of the vampires.
That is killer. What do you guys think of that? That's pretty sick. I don't know if anybody that's ever familiar with the Ravenloft series. This looks like Ravenloft, like the descriptions of like the misty forests. This is really killer.
So as you come up over the pass, you stop here for a second. So there's your village of Barovia, but if you stop and look up, there's Castle Ravenloft.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I love
so.
That moon is just gigantic.
So Strahd is always looking over his city, right? He basically owns this whole plane. He rules this area.
Right.
This demi-plane of Barovia and Ravenloft. And built it for him. So anything that happens in here, Strahd knows about. Now, one of the cool things that you're actually in right now, if you look at your map monitor here, you'll see you're actually in nighttime. Something we wanted to do in Ravenloft was actually add a day and night cycle to it. Something we haven't done much of in Neverwinter.
Okay.
So, and the cool thing about that is at night, certain monsters come out, like the night terrors, which is one of Strahd's evil pets.
Right.
And it comes out hunting. So you have different quests and different monsters happening during day and night type stuff.
So nighttime's a lot more dangerous. And what is the like? If I was a new player, can I jump into this content, or is this going to be something that's pretty much going to be more end game or mid game?
This is more in game stuff. But we actually, as you hit our in game, we actually when you go through the intro quest, we give you some new gear and some Taroka cards to actually help jump you into these levels. So now you're talking to Esmeralda Navineer, who's like basically your typical heroin monster
that the
hunter.
mists have led another stranger.
She's going to be one of your main contacts for things. So you're talking about the dead letter here. Go ahead, just going to run through a couple of quests, and then we can just do some
I
more
suppose
things,
if you are
right? So we've got all our
risking
story,
your life helping
all
me
our
hunt
text set up here.
I think we're heading to the farewell portion. So now setting up our quest.
Yep, Jay.
Jay, there we go. Dead letter.
Priority here, and that'll actually set your golden path.
And then we just click out of there.
And then,
yep, there we go.
And you can just bat on over. Right now, we're just really introducing you to all the cast and characters, like any classic movie trope.
Right.
You know, you need to know who's the heroine, who's the victim, all those kind of things. So you were told by the Vistani who got you here, the traveling, they're almost like gypsies, right? That you have a letter for Irina's father to come help.
Okay.
As you find out here, in the text,
but you have been
actually not from her father. It's a total trap to basically get you here.
A while ago.
Just like in the original the module, where you're taken here by means that are not. Let's see. It's J for journal.
When I spoke of this to my father,
West.
he became
Dead
very
letter.
pale and wouldn't let me leave the
Just
house.
go ahead and return to Esmeralda and find out things are not right.
Right.
So,
Okay, so you guys have kept that whole little story arc where
exactly, yeah.
you've been brought here by deception, and once you're here, you're sort of stuck here for a
Exactly, and you want to hunt down and actually take out Strahd von Zotter.
Right.
And one of the things that you've learned from Madame Eva is that in order to be able to take out Strahd von Zotter, you have to find 3 artifacts. Yeah, there's a necklace, a tome, and a sword, the Sword of Light, which the streamers saw in the video preview, right?
Right.
They were using the Sword of Light.
So you've kept all the major elements of because in the module you have to actually have those 3 elements as well.
Exactly.
And they're randomized as where they're sort of.
In the module they're randomized throughout the game. Here you actually go through certain quests to actually find and gain them, and then once you do, you will actually use them in the dungeon.
Okay.
To fight Strahd. It's almost like the unlock to go fight Strahd.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we can go on some quests. I'm not sure exactly how much time we have, but let's just go explore some of them.
Let's. There's like a weekly quest. Is that something that we can Dark Heroics?
Yeah. That's actually for the heroic encounter.
Okay.
Which take usually about 10 players.
Okay.
There are big in-game kind of events. You can see other players jumping around in the different mounts.
Yep.
Right? So let's just go explore. So we've got different areas that are also very iconic.
Oh, 7. Yeah, let's swarm off. That is so cool.
Yeah, so in the zone itself, actually, if you hit your overhead map, we can see, zoom out a little bit. We can get really the idea of the whole map.
Okay, so we've got a question. What's up with the audio?
I don't know.
We've got a little bit of probably some technical difficulties. Just bear with us. We'll try to clean it up as we go.
Is it my audio?
Yeah, a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of some echo.
Well, we got a bit of an echo. Sorry about that. When you travel to a demi-plane.
Yeah. So what we could do is I'll switch headphones with you, because that way you can explain a little bit more and we can get your audio a little bit better. Because basically I'm just kind of doing ooh ah right now, because this is pretty damn cool.
Switch. There we go. A little bit better? Okay, so as we can see here on our monitor, we're actually coming, it's going to turn daylight pretty soon. So we can go up. If you go to the right, you'll see our graveyard. And straight ahead is the gate to actually get up to the castle. So when you have quests to get to the castle, you can go there. We really tried to tie in a lot of the cool iconography with Ravenloft in the story arcs.
Okay, so this, we're grave encounter.
Yep, so you can go in here next week. You just go in the grave encounter, so into the graveyard here.
Okay.
So there's one of your encounters right there. So you're trying to reset the stones. clobber these guys, all the ghouls coming up. Now remember, Neverwinter is really more of a fast-paced action MMORPG, right? So that's really what we strive for in our gameplay styles.
Always loot.
There you go. Yep, get a fat loot and go ahead and click on the thing to reset it. Get a little bit closer. There you go. So investigate all disturbed graves. What's going on with the graves? They're being dug up. Well, they're being dug up because there's ghouls in there. Go and hit your 1k or your daily or your 2k. There you go. Now you can really clobber these guys. Great weapon fighters pack a lot of punch. So with this quest, you'll actually go throughout the graveyard and investigate the graves. There's a few more in here in the area. Yep, you're in combat, so you want to fight. Get up, get up! Bring in your mount powers to actually help you. Ah, nice.
Investigate.
Oh, what have you done? What have you done? Here, Forky. Oh, it's always awesome watching noobs here. We'll fix you up here.
Yeah, this is reminiscent of my experience.
Or just respawn you back at start. Yeah, it's a deadly world, and you're just learning this character, right? So, just really having fun. So, how about we just actually tour a little bit more and just look at the map in the zone.
Yeah.
Use an injury kit or stand by a campfire for 3 minutes to remove one minor injury.
What do you guys want to see? This is first look. Nobody's ever taken a look at this except for if you were on the
that's true.
The preview server. So, and this is launching June 26th.
June 26th, exactly. We go live
on everything, right?
Nope. For PC, it'll come out later on console. Because of how we have to do console testing and all the things, we can never quite release it at the same time. But you're gonna go right back to the fighting, huh? All right, we'll start using your other powers too then.
Yep. And then R.
Q. There you go. So in Barovia, we have different neighborhoods. There's a neighborhood like by the old Bone Grinder Mill, which of course is an iconic part of the story where the witches are taking away people and children to make these dream pies that they're basically feeding to everybody, so the Barovians forget. Remember, in the story, most Barovians are born without souls. It's very rare that you actually find one, and we reflect that with all the kind of dim and gray story arcs. And when you talk to the people in town, they really are just not, happy or there.
Yeah, that's a. I think I remember that's a big part of
the. And we've got the werewolf den where there's all the Kirill and the other clan of werewolves are actually kind of vying for power against each other. Some work with Strahd, some are against him.
Okay.
Yeah. The giant. They don't call it the Cursed Meadow for nothing, pal. So we've got spiders in here.
Definitely not the friendly.
Yeah, and we've got the witches are new in here. We've got a lot of scarecrows. Just run through the cornfield there. I dare you.
Okay, here we go. What do we got?
There you go.
Dragon aggro. Alright, oh, God.
Well, oh, yeah, you're just going to bring everything down on you, aren't you? And so now it's daytime, actually, in the world. But even though it's daytime, it doesn't get super bright in this extra foggy world of Barovia.
That's super cool.
Yeah, the witches are flying around. You probably don't want to tangle with those guys just yet. But if you pan up and look to your right here, you can see the old Bone Grinder Mill, right? So this is straight out of Ravenloft. And there's a lot. When you explore this area, you can find some extra side quests. There's great things to pick up. Also, a lot of the characters will drop Taroka cards, which are the cards that Madame Eva uses for reading, right?
So that portion of it's been added in as well, so you can collect those cards?
You do. You collect them for two different reasons. One, when you collect the entire deck, and Madame Eva in the intro quest actually gives you a box to put them in, you actually get an artifact, a really cool artifact. But you can also use the Taroka cards for the monster hunts. When you find a wanted poster, I think we've actually even given you one. We can actually go and you can go into the monster hunts, talk to Madame Eva, and she'll do a reading for you, telling you the 3 places where the monster you'll be hunting will show up. And then at that point, you have the choice to actually add in Taroka cards to change the gameplay. Each Taroka card has a risk to it, like it can give, all monsters have 10% more health or more speed or something like that. But there's also a reward. They're going to give 10% more loot.
Okay.
So you can do things like that. So
let's go.
Yeah, let's go down and talk to Madame Eva. I think we.
Okay. This, yeah, of course. Yep, sorry.
Cool bat travel power.
This is pretty killer. What do you guys think out there in watching? What do you guys think of this bat power? And
we should need to give away some of those codes too.
Codes, yeah, definitely.
So here we are into the Vistani camp here.
This is cool. Let's get out of
traveling gypsies, which of course you are now, because when you go through the intro quest, you become an honorary Vistani.
You made it safely through the... Oh,
yeah, this is the guy that gave you the letter, right?
I know, and I am ashamed that Before you go, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Perhaps this will help restore your...
Trust him or don't trust him. Vistani are good, James. We'll go this way.
Whatever you might believe, my family is honorable.
And if we want to go talk to Madame Eva, go talk to the guard here. Oh, sorry, actually, is that the reason?
I am Yori Vadu, and I have been a hunter. How can Yori Vadu enlighten me? Wanted posters.
It's always helpful.
Madame Eva used... Once Eva has given...
So this is based on our tutorial on how to use the Taroka cards and things. So we've got a whole new UI system on how it works.
That's super cool. If as a player, I would definitely read through that. But since a guy who built this, I just have to over here.
Do you want to go around? Vistani guard. Oh, so I don't think we actually have here inventory. I'm not sure if we actually have any wanted posters right now. I don't think we actually have a wanted poster, so we can't do any hunts right now. Oh, okay. That's too bad. We have to go. You have to go. The hunted posters are the wanted posters, rather. The bounty posters are dropped by different monsters that happen.
Okay, what's this? The Howling.
That's one of our heroic encounters.
Okay, and then.
And the hostage. Yeah, hostage. Those are some of our smaller heroic encounters. So there's smaller events that single players and stuff are go. So you can actually go over to the Howling area. That's kind of cool. We can actually explore just right up to that area. I think with the time that we have allotted, just kind of exploring the map and kind of talking about the surroundings is probably the cool thing to do.
Yeah, just looking around and just seeing the different areas. This is straight out of the game. Like everything that you guys have done, like Tomb of Annihilation and everything, you guys have taken a lot of care at trying to make this look and feel, as close to the descriptions that you'll see.
Well, cool. Yeah, thanks. The art team did a really spectacular job of bringing Barovia to life here. And quality is that one thing that we've really been pushing towards, And it's both quality in the look and feel of the game, but also quality and consistency. And and making sure that the game is as bug-free as possible. It's fantastic. We test as much as possible, but the preview server, which we're on right now, shout out to all the guys, all of our players that do go to preview, because we're a dev team of only 43 people, and we can only test things so much. But really getting the players to look at it from different angles or play it and give us feedback has been really super valuable. So shout out again to everybody that's gone on the preview servers and helped us out.
All right, hold on. What we got going? Giveaway? All right, so yeah, let's do a giveaway.
Cool.
You guys want to do a giveaway? I'm gonna let you take the controls.
Yeah.
So follow. Give us a comment. What do you guys think of the content, the new Ravenloft content?
Yeah, or tell us what class you play. Just if you're a player, right?
And the first what do we do in the first 3 comments? So this really gives you like a good chance here. First 3 comments. Tell us, post comments about the content, what class you're playing, what do you think about it, and then we're gonna get you those codes. So get to it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Where do we see those? You got them up on your end?
Yep,
Cool.
I think we do.
Cool. Let me respawn you here. It just goes to show you, no matter how awesome your graphics card and routers are, you still need to practice to play the game.
Is there, okay, so here's a question. Is there any rough estimate, other than late 2018, as to when it will hit consoles? It looks great. I just want to know that the dungeon is going to be alive. I want in.
The dungeon's going to be what? I'm sorry?
Just wondering when it's going to hit the console.
You know what? I don't have the actual dates on that, but we usually follow somewhere about 6 to 8 weeks after it goes to PC.
Yep.
Cool.
So one more comment, and you will win a the codes here. We've got a comment by Lancerino, who says he's a great weapon fighter. I think
nice.
It's worth a try. I wish I would do more of the things that I want. I wish I could do more of the things that I want in the game.
Like what?
What would you?
What do you want to do?
You've got the ear of the desks right now, so this is your chance. Let's see. Raven Code says I think they need more manpower. Yeah, I'm trying to solo this. It's like it is an epic utility.
Well, and you're not used to playing a great weapon fighter either, right?
No. I'm playing on console, and I traditionally with this game I've always played archers and rangers.
Yeah.
PvP team competitive league.
I would love that. Back before I came back onto the team as a lead, we actually did have leaderboards for PvP, and I can honestly tell you it's something that we're looking to reactivate very soon. As everybody in the game knows, we've been working hard on cleaning up and balancing a lot of the powers for players, and that's something we're really striving for and continuing. And once we get those things a little bit more ironed out, where we feel that the gameplay is more on an even board, then we'll be hitting the PvP pretty hard, because I'm a huge PvP fan.
Yeah, and you are obviously much better at this game.
Wow.
So I think we got the 3. So we're gonna reach out and contact you if you are a winner of the code, and that's fantastic. That's like, we're happy to give that out. We're actually really
that's super exciting
to have you come down and show this. We wanted to get you out here for 2
I think that this is a super cool thing. For these guys that can't actually see the entire pro gaming room, it's a dream come true. It's exactly what you've always wanted in your own gaming room. Very exciting, and so thanks guys for the opportunity to be here.
Another comment.
Oh yeah.
Here. So we've got Lance Sereno says that the game mechanics of this game are truly amazing. That's why I believe that the PvP is worth it. Yeah, I totally agree. This thing does play super easy. From the mechanics point of view, you guys really made it very intuitive, and that's why I think that you guys are getting the longevity with this game. It's just the fact that you guys are constantly putting out.
We really strive to put out content. We were doing it up to 4 times a year. We've actually dropped it down to 3 times a year, so we can make that content a little bit beefier each time. And also, that helps us to working more towards getting in alignment with having that PC and console launch at the same time, which is important to us. We can never quite align it exactly, again, because of just of the SRB and or how it has to go through testing through the console platforms. But we definitely try to line it up more. and we're excited about PvP.
Yeah. So
we can get a league going.
Get a league going. Here's a question. Into the Borderlands. That just came out as a 5e.
Yep.
So that's something that you guys are going to look at.
I can tell you that anytime any stuff comes out, we always look at it with greedy eyes, right? And we're lucky because we work with Wizards of the Coast. We actually do get to see stuff that's coming out before even the public sometimes. Well, most of the time, right? So because we maybe want to be in alignment with it, right? So we knew about Stream of Annihilation, almost a year before the public announcement, which is good because we had to build that whole jungle. So looking at like Tales of the Yawning Portal, there's some great stories back there, and it's got all the old modules redone in it. Waterdeep's coming out, Undermountain's coming out. There's so many cool things coming out. So I can't promise that we'll actually be doing any of that content, but I can tell you that, man, we always looking at the Great Weapon Fighter. See, he knows what to do. See, just watch him, man.
Yeah.
Just like when I play Overwatch, I watch how the good kids do it, and I try to emulate them.
Well, this has been fantastic. This is a great way to kind of open up our stream. So this launches in just a matter of days.
Yeah, June 26th. Really excited.
And how do people find, like, if they haven't found your game?
Well, they can go to ARC on Perfect World for Perfect World. They can check us Facebook at Neverwinter. We're on Stream. We're also on Xbox One and PS4. So we're on both consoles and on PC. So there's plenty of ways to find Neverwinter.
Very cool. We got one more. What do you think about giving a Great Weapon Fighter a parrying ability instead of the release?
Oh, interesting idea. Tell you what, put that on our forums, or I'll grab that question and I will discuss that. Look at even me, I'm being a noob here. I'll discuss that with our systems team. We'll see what they think.
And here's another one. Please, no more sneaky +5 ring achievements. So, and then like having a suggestion is to keep people in PvP. They need something that they can make us play, like ranking rewards every week, and then change those rewards and reset the leaderboards. Awesome, everybody, for your comments, and thanks for
this.
Watching. And man, this looks so cool. I can't wait.
Nighttime's coming out. Here comes the moon.
And the fact, like, I wish you could zoom in and Strahd's probably out on that balcony.
You know what? If we were to actually go into when you get to, believe me, you get to go up there. You will be in that courtyard. You will be in that castle, and you'll be seeing Strahd.
Yeah, it's super cool. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for taking.
Yeah, thanks very much, man, for having us out.
Thanks everybody for watching the first stream for Nighthawk Pro Gaming. I hope that you had some fun. What we're gonna start doing is a lot more streams with games, including Neverwinter, Overwatch, PUBG, Fortnite, League of Legends. So stay tuned. We've got a couple other surprises, and we're gonna talk about what's going on in the gaming world. We here at Nighthawk Pro Gaming, we live, breathe, think, sleep gaming, and as you can see from the Pro Gaming Lounge, we're really committed to games, gaming, and making gamers' lives experience all the better. So thanks everyone.
Awesome, thanks a lot.
All right, we'll see you soon. Follow us, and as we go, we'll get the schedule going as we continue to add content for you guys.
Right on.
All right. All right. Thanks everybody.